Good afternoon. It's high time to talk in the languages of music. My name is Konrad Żurowski, and I am wondering if you are ready for a cultural journey. I warmly invite you to listen to Languages of Music on YouTube, Spotify, and other streaming services, as well as to follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram. It is there and while listening on YouTube that you will find a table of 10 keywords for the episode in 4 languages. I had the indescribable honor to interview Mr Michał Rusinek, Polish literary scholar, writer, translator, Doctor of Humanities, professor at Jagiellonian University, appointed to the Polish Language Council from 2019, former secretary of Wislawa Szymborska, and columnist on Radio Nowy Świat. At the outset, Mr. Michał jokingly promised not to sing, in reference to the question of what language of music he would speak during the interview. He believes that song lyrics should not be hermetic. When writing the lyrics of the song Tango New World, he decided to loosely refer to the hit song We Will Meet at the New World. But above all, he decided to refer to well-known poetic texts in which the word "word" appears. To this end, he drew on Henryk Markiewicz's skrzydlaty słowami, in English winged words. When he wrote the lyrics to the song Bossa Nowa Solla Nowa, to music by Grzegorz Turnał, sung by Anna Maria Jopek, the Rzeczpospolita Daily wrote that the text was erudite, which infuriated him as it features lost wife, the knowledge of which does not require any particular erudition. Once he happened to write the lyrics of a song in English, he treated it a bit like a phonetic play. He believes that when we write in a language that is not our mother tongue, we become someone else. He cites as an example the Russian writer Vladimir Nabokov, who spent half his life in America. His novels, written in English, give the impression of being written by someone other than the Russian-speaking Nabokov. For him, songwriting is not an art, but a craft. He compares it to tiling. We have a certain surface limited by the number of syllables, verses, the arrangement of accents, and we have to fill it in meaningfully. Songwriting is sometimes a training ground for some poets. By writing lyrics, they can hone their poetic craft, test their skills in different forms. The lyrics of a song are not autonomous. Only with music do they create completeness. Some poets, such as Wislawa Szymborska, thought that their poems were not suitable for songs, because adding music to them would only harm them. In communist Poland, songs still had a third author, the censor. Even if the censor did not interfere with the lyrics, the very knowledge that he could do so influenced the lyricist. In politically controlled countries, an elusive Aesopian literature developed and continues to develop. In the late 90s of 20th century, Aesopian language gave way to pure nonsense, especially in cabaret works. In his book Zero Inhibitions or a Philologist Listens to Songs, he has taken the lyrics of literally poor songs under scrutiny. However, he not only laughs at their awkwardness, he also laughs at himself, the school interpreter bending over the text, looking for the lyrical subject. It is possible to write literally excellent popular song lyrics, and we have evidence of this in the form of real poets such as Jeremi Przybora, Wojciech Młynarski, and Agnieszka Osiecka. The popularity of the disco polo genre has done considerable damage to music culture, as it is a caricature of folk music. The moral issues raised in the lyrics, which often verge on pedophilia and belittle reprehensible behavior, are worrying. The world has always been ruled by words. Politicians use language directed at potential voters and create a vision of the world. Politicians also make laws, and laws are linguistic in nature. Forms of governance range from persuasion, electoral discourse, through the language of perpetuating or constructing a vision of the world, to the strongly word-creating language of legislation. The government in Poland between 2015 and 2023 produced a strongly detached from reality, wishful image of the world. It is easiest to rule by fear and anxiety, which makes it necessary to identify or create an enemy. The easiest way to create enemies is through linguistic categories. Once it was the Jew, now it is the refugee or the non-heteronormative person. We are made to think and talk about such people using the dehumanizing category of LGBT ideology. He writes columns on the language of politics, with a wink. He doesn't like jokes, preferring anecdotes. He encourages us to recognize the materiality of language, not to treat it as something invisible, like a transparent pane of glass, because then we will be more susceptible to any manipulation. Language is a favorite source of inspiration for him. He has a positivist approach. The earlier we inculcate an inclination to perceive the materiality of language and the various nuances of language, the more proficient future generations will be in the use of language. He has been teaching creative writing for several years, encouraging students to try their hand at various literary forms. He prefers Schroeder to creative purgatory, although he has a folder of texts with unused stuff in it, usually unused because they were supposed to be part of some larger whole that still hasn't been created. In addition, he has several song lyrics that are still waiting for music. Mr. Michał Rusinek asked me what to do to get everyone vaccinated. I replied that a subliminal cultural message might prove salutary. Mr. Michał jokingly added that vaccinations would probably have to be banned. The opportunity to work with legendary Wislawa Szymborska allowed him, among other things, to gain the patience to give interviews. And it is to her that he owes his propensity for anecdotes. You are cordially invited to listen to the remaining language parts in separate episodes. Languages of Music is the world's first interdisciplinary podcast combining linguistic and educational values as well as the universal message of languages of music. Music run solo. Many thanks to Maciej for producing the episode.